Greetings. If you did not make it to Bible study this morning, I'm going to go over with you the three questions and summaries that we discussed together as a class. We're now in the book of Philemon, verses 1 through 16. However, our first question is over the first 7 verses of Philemon, verses 1 through 7, which we read into our spirit. And the question that we tackled together as a class is: the book of Philemon is about accepting someone, not because of his or her worthiness, but because of the acceptance that you have received in Christ Jesus. Explain the ways in which this message mirrors our relationship to God and to each other. And here's our summary on that. The short letter of Philemon in the Bible packs a powerful punch. In just 7 verses, Paul urges Philemon to welcome back Onesimus, a runaway slave, not as a servant, but as a beloved brother. This flies in the face of societal norms of the time, but Paul's message is timeless. We are to accept others based on Christ's love, not their merit. Philemon's context: in the Roman world, slaves were property. Onesimus' return could have been seen as an opportunity to reassert dominance. Our modern day context: while slavery is thankfully primarily abolished, social divisions and prejudices still exist. We might judge people based on race, socioeconomic status, or past mistakes. Here are 3 ways to accept like Jesus. See beyond the label. Philemon's verse 6 highlights the sharing of your faith, a common ground that transcends societal roles. Similarly, Jesus interacted with everyone, from tax collectors to Pharisees, recognizing the humanity beneath societal labels. In our day-to-day lives, we can actively listen to understand someone's story rather than judge them based on stereotypes. Number 2, embrace the broken. Onesimus likely caused trouble for Philemon, yet Paul calls for forgiveness. Jesus constantly forgave sinners, offering them a chance at redemption. We can extend grace to those who have wronged us, remembering that everyone makes mistakes. And number 3, finally, we can mirror God's love. Philemon, verse 5, speaks of Philemon's love and faith. This mirrors God's love for us, undeserved yet freely given. As in Romans book 5, verse 8, by accepting others' flaws and all, we reflect God's unconditional love in the world. So here's the takeaway: relationships as mirrors. Our interactions with others are like mirrors. When we accept someone unconditionally, it reflects God's love to them and inspires them to extend that love to others. Conversely, if we judge and reject, we create a ripple effect of negativity. By following Paul's message, as in Philemon, we can create a more compassionate and Christ-centered world, one relationship at a time. Okay? Moving forward, for verses 8 through 14, question: Paul was in the position of helping someone who didn't entirely deserve help. What is the struggle in making that kind of decision today? Here's our summary. The book of Philemon delves deeper than just accepting a returning slave. In verses 8 through 14, Paul wrestles with the complexities of offering help to someone who may not seem fully deserving. Let's explore these complexities and how they translate to our modern world, highlighting 3 struggles we may face when extending help to someone. So, in Philemon's situation, Onesimus potentially stole from Philemon and ran away. Paul urges Philemon to welcome him back, even offering to personally repay any debt. In our modern day parallel, we often encounter situations where someone needs help but may have caused problems in the past. Helping them can feel like we're rewarding bad behavior. So here are 3 struggles with extending that help to those type people. Conditional versus unconditional love. Philemon 8 mentions Paul's authority in Christ. However, Paul doesn't order Philemon to accept Onesimus. He appeals to Philemon's love, as in Philemon verse 9. In our lives, the struggle lies in distinguishing between offering unconditional love and giving aid that could be seen as enabling bad behavior. Resentment and anger. Philemon may have harbored resentment toward Onesimus. We might struggle to forgive someone who has wronged us, making it difficult to genuinely help them. And number 3, boundaries and manipulation. Paul acknowledged the potential for Onesimus to owe Philemon something. As in verse 18, this suggests setting boundaries. In modern situations, the challenge lies in discerning a genuine need for help from someone who's manipulating us out of consequences. So, finding the balance, Philemon doesn't offer a simple solution. It's a call for both forgiveness and discernment. We can learn from this by offering help with clear boundaries and while addressing the root of the problem, not just the immediate need. Ultimately, Philemon teaches us that true Christian love involves both compassion and a nudge toward personal responsibility. So here's the takeaway. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it can lead to healing for both parties. Setting boundaries allows you to help someone without being taken advantage of. Discern genuine need from manipulation. By following these principles, we can navigate the complexity of helping others in the spirit of Philemon, even when they may seem not entirely deserving. This in turn becomes a reflection of God's own redemptive love in the world today. Okay, moving forward to our last 2 verses, which is verses 15 and 16 that we read into our spirit. In the question, Philemon faced a difficult choice according to his new faith that could have dire consequences. What does it feel like to make that kind of decision today? And here's our final summary. The book of Philemon concludes with a powerful message about forgiveness and reconciliation. In verses 15 through 16, Paul hints at a deeper purpose for Onesimus' return, potentially becoming Philemon's eternal companion in Christ. Let's explore this concept and its significance in the modern day world, while also examining 3 potential consequences of choosing forgiveness according to Christian faith today. This is Philemon's choice. Onesimus, a runaway slave, is now presented as a potential brother in Christ, a dynamic shift in their relationship. Modern parallels. We often face situations where forgiving someone requires a significant change in our relationship with them. This can be challenging. So here are three consequences of forgiveness. Number 1, reconciliation and growth. As in verse 16, it speaks of Onesimus being returned, perhaps forever. Forgiveness opens the door to reconciliation and the potential for a deeper, more Christ-centered relationship. This can be incredibly rewarding, leading to personal growth for both parties. Number 2, letting go of resentment. Choosing forgiveness can be a burden to let go of anger and resentment. As in Philemon, verse 15, it mentions Onesimus being departed for a while. Forgiveness acknowledges the hurt caused, but chooses to move forward, releasing negativity. While difficult, this can lead to inner peace and a lighter heart. And number 3, finally, society offers, this is misconstrued as weakness. Society often views forgiveness as weakness. However, forgiveness in the Christian faith is a strength. It requires courage and reflects Christ's own sacrificial love, as in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verses 14 through 15. While some might see it as weakness, true forgiveness is an act of immense strength. So here's the heart of the matter. Forgiving someone may not seem entirely deserving. It is forgiving someone who may not seem entirely deserving isn't easy. It requires faith, courage, and a willingness to let go of the past. However, the potential consequences of forgiveness are immense reconciliation, personal growth, and a reflection of God's own redemptive love. So here's the takeaway. Forgiveness is a choice. You are not obligated to forgive someone who has not apologized or shown remorse. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning the wrongdoing. It means choosing to let go of the hurt and moving forward. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and support. So in closing, by choosing forgiveness, even when faced with the potential consequences, we can experience the transformative power of Christ's love in our own lives and relationships. This in turn becomes a powerful testament to the message of faith and redemption. Okay. I'll see everyone on Thursday, where we will wrap up the book of Philemon. That's verses 17 to 25. And then we'll take our summer break and we'll return back on 12 September. God bless.